These poor men have the worst bosses in the world, but they're finally gonna get revenge. And as far as this guy, well, I don't really know what he's complaining about. We start things off with Nick clocking into work while telling us about his hard-working, beloved grandmother. You see, she came here with just $2 to her name, and through hard work and taking no crap from anybody, that $2 became $2,000 by the time she died.
That sucks.
Oh yeah, true. That's about the cost of an ambulance ride in the US. Nick reflects that though his grandma had the right intentions, she ultimately got one part wrong. To get ahead in life, you gotta be willing to take crap, which Nick would be okay with if it wasn't for his boss, Dave. He calls him into his office and notes that despite work starting at 6, Nick seems to have been 2 minutes late. Now, I know you're a professional, punctual guy, Nick, so there must be something wrong with our security system. I might have been a minute late. Without skipping a beat, Dave reaches for the phone and prepares to fire their security guy. Wait, no. Well, you were 2 minutes late, so you're either lying or the system was off, Nick.
I was lying.
That was an emotional roller coaster. Now, onto something perhaps even more unpleasant. Meet Dale, a man who is soon to be married. May God have mercy. He's a dentist, or rather a dentist assistant. It's basically the same thing, except
a lot less money.
Suddenly, his boss Julia starts making some small talk that quickly becomes inappropriate.
I bet you're no shrimp in the
Okay, Julia, come on.
What a total nightmare. Tragic stuff. That's sarcasm, by the way. Last but not least, we cut to our final musketeer, Kurt, and his job is downright pleasant. He gets along with everyone like it's one big family. In fact, it's such a dream job that even the FedEx girl is, well, royalty. And the final cherry on top is this man right here, Jack, Kurt's boss. Apparently, he's the sweetest, nicest guy he's ever known. This is by all accounts a paradise, aside from one little detail. Speak of the devil, that's Jack's son, Bobby, who was just holding up the bathroom from pregnant Marge to take in all the aromas. Weird. He gets into a little back and forth with his dad about the effort he's putting in before calling Kurt a... Back to Nick, he's once again questioned by Dave. I know you've been eyeing that senior vice president of sales promotion, but I just don't know if I can trust you. You can trust me.
Now you sound like my wife.
You can trust me, honey. Nothing's happening behind your back.
Okay, the trust issues make sense now. Dave offers Nick a drink, to which he declines. In the morning, sir? What's wrong with a man enjoying a morning drink, Nick? Feeling pressured, he gives in. Dave hands him a big old glass, but has none for himself.
Nick, it's 8:15 in the morning. I'm not an alcoholic.
Got his ass. Nick puts the glass down and states that he only took it thinking Dave would follow suit. This prompts Dave to hit him with the old, if I jumped off of a cliff, would you do it too, Nick? But in a more creative manner.
If I was gonna put my balls in honey and shaved coconut, you do that too?
Oddly specific, but okay. Before defeated Nick departs, Dave insists he finishes his drink because he's not about to pour back 18-year-old scotch. Understandable. Like a good employee, Nick takes one for the team. Attaboy. Then, we cut to Dale getting wet at the workplace.
I'm sorry. I'm a squirter.
Uh-oh. Typical office play shenanigans. Julia continues her prank before Dale erupts that he's getting married soon and that this isn't cool. I thought she was just your girlfriend.
You said that she was just a whole...
Based, if true. However, Dale insists Julia's making things up. And given her behavior, I'm gonna have to side with him. Meanwhile, Kurt and his boss share a wholesome moment about how wonderful things are going. You know, one day, you're gonna be running this place. A smile paints Kurt's face as old Jack drives away. Uh-oh. We fade to a night at the bar with the boys where Kurt shares to Dale that Jack's heart exploded. Bummer. Then, Nick shares his recent troubles before Dale chimes in about his hostile work conditions. As you might imagine, the boys offer up little to no sympathy. Dale shares today's wonderfully wet incident, and Kurt's like,
That's great.
to which I agree. Nick suggests he get another dental assistant job, but he can't. Dale reminds them that he's on a list. You see, he made the mistake of taking a leak near a children's park.
There were no kids.
Okay, moving on. The next day, Nick can be seen chatting with a coworker while waiting for Dave to arrive for today's meeting. Can you believe he was grilling me for being a minute late and here we are waiting 15 for him? 2 minutes, Nick. Awkward.
That's all right. I'll just attribute this to your drinking problem.
Yeah, I don't have
Nick?
that.
Dave proceeds with the meeting, announcing that he's finally decided who's going to be Senior Vice President of Sales. In fact, it's someone in this very room. Oh, it's gonna be me?
It's me. What do you think?
Oh, you see, Dave has decided to absorb the position's responsibilities. As they say, if you want to get something done right, do it yourself. And the man is so humble that he's only going to be taking 85% of the extra salary he's entitled to.
That is self-sacrifice, people.
And with those words, Nick is sent into a frenzy. He charges at Dave, tackling him and then dragging him across the office. You are so fired! Just kidding. Dave concludes the meeting and walks off, but Nick follows. Of course, he takes issue with the fact that Dave has been hinting for months that he was up for promotion. And look how hard you've been working, Nick. So you were lying to me?
Lying? No, Nick. Motivating.
As Dave walks off, Nick erupts. You know, I worked so hard last month, I missed saying goodbye to my gam-gam. What? Nick elaborates that his grandmother was deathly ill, but Dave threatened to fire him if he left early. Finally showing a softer side, Dave apologizes.
I'm sorry. I had no idea that you called your grandmother gam.
Okay, that is pretty funny. Dave contains his laughter before assuring Nick that he's an invaluable part of the team, but he needs him right where he is. As Dave walks off once more, Nick counters. Tough shit. Whoa, he just found his manhood. Nick proceeds to demand better treatment or he's leaving. However, Dave threatens to tarnish his name. Nick calls his bluff, prompting Dave to close the distance and get intimate.
I own you.
Daddy, chill. Dave reminds him who's boss around here and Nick has no choice but to submit. Next up, Kurt faces a troubling revelation. As he arrives late to work after attending Jack's funeral, he runs into Bobby, his new boss. 3 hours late, what's the deal? Kurt explains that he was at his father's funeral. Yeah, that excuse might have flown if my old man was still here. Kurt proceeds to explain that excuse would not logically make any sense at all if Bobby's dad was still alive.
In my office now.
Bobby sits Kurt down and lets him know that things are going to be different around here. First and foremost, we gotta get these profits up. Bobby inquires into what this Envirotech waste management service is all about. It costs a bit more, but we're protecting the environment, Bobby. See, that doesn't fly with Bobby. He'd rather pay a third of the price to have it dumped in a local river. Your dad would have rather died than save money and hurt people.
Looks like we're right on schedule.
Based. Bobby continues with his list of changes. We've gotta trim the fat around here. He elaborates that he means that very literally.
I want you to fire the fat people.
Based. Just kidding. He singles out Large Marge, but Kurt insists that she's just pregnant. However, Bobby pushes the issue. Do it or I fire you both. Ultimately, he does what has to be done. Next up, on Dale's end of things, he gets called into Julia's office and gets locked in. I should add that she's not wearing much under that coat, but you'll have to use your imagination. She sits him down and levels with him about her recent conduct. Look, I know I fool around at work sometimes, but if you ever feel uncomfortable, just feel free to let me know. Obviously, she's just messing with him. As soon as he speaks up about the very clear legal violations going on, she brings up his little incident at the park. Those poor, poor children.
There were no children, no kids in the park. You find people like there were no kids in the park.
Then, Julie moves in and gets serious. Since he's getting married soon, she wants things to hurry along between them before it's too late. As we can see, she's a good woman who respects the sanctity of marriage. Wholesome. Nonetheless, Dale shuts her down once more.
See about that.
Julia dismisses him and he heads out the, "Oh, please let me out, mommy." Afterwards, we cut to the boys sulking away another night at the bar. Dale wonders why they don't just quit. They have the option, unlike him. They entertain the idea and even get a burst of motivation. But then suddenly, an old friend from back in the day pulls up. He shares that he was working at an investment bank straight out of Yale. But then, the recession hit. Now, he can't find work at all. The job market is brutal. In fact, he can't even afford his drink and begs the boys to lend him some cash. Things get even more dire as he offers them all a weird favor for money.
Hey! Come on, man! I told you no more handies in here!
He must be talking about handstands. Later in the night, the boys contemplate if they're forever destined to live out their lives in misery. Kurt loves being one of those losers that fantasize about killing their bosses every day. You know what? What if we actually did it? The others claim they would never, but Kurt insists he's got it in him. The night concludes, then we cut to Dale the next day. At work, he's ambushed from behind. He turns around, annoyed, expecting Julia, but surprise, it's Spacey, his fiancée. Turns out, his evil boss invited her. Since they're getting engaged, Julia offered her free dental work. Dale of course objects, but he's no match for her. She's got him, and he knows it. We proceed with Stacy's operation, and as soon as she drifts off to sleep, Julia pounces. Dale has officially hit his limit. He gets up and threatens to quit on the spot, but Julia blackmails him. If we don't do it, I'll just tell her we did. She's of course referring to secret tickle time. She's not gonna believe you. Oh, on the contrary, Dale. Julia whips out a stash of pictures she took with him when he was knocked out. Yep. Before he got a job here, he was a patient. You'll have to use your imagination, but this is plenty of evidence. Having just revealed her trump card, Julie gets back to work as if nothing happened.
I'll be back in a jiffy.
Calm, cool, and calculated. Dale is left shook. After work, he speeds over to the boys and shouts,
I'm in! Let's kill this bitch!
"Goddamn!" Kurt is immediately in, but Nick believes that the two are on some other shit. Dale eases his worries, pointing out that he watches a lot of Law & Order, so he knows how these things work. Okay, not really. He actually concludes that they should just hire an expert, and Kurt is totally vibing with the idea.
Cut our own hair? No, we pay someone to do that.
Despite the pure genius that just hit his ears, Nick remains hesitant. Don't you worry about the details. I got this whole thing figured out. I'll tell you guys where to meet me tomorrow.
Why don't you just tell us now?
Cause I don't have it figured out.
The next night, the boys meet up at a sketchy-looking motel before Dale shares that he found someone. He explains that you can find anything online. It just tends to go by some different code words. So today, they ordered wet work services. As you can see by the listing, everything aside from children and political figures is game.
When I saw that, I thought, okay, this is a good idea.
Suddenly, a car pulls up and a rather dapper man steps out. The boys get excited, believing him to be on some James Bond shit. Kurt and Dale hype themselves up at the door before opening.
Yeah.
Are you Dale?
I am the one they call Dale.
Very smooth. The mysterious man enters before laying a tarp out on the floor and asking, who's first? The boys panic, fearing that their lives might be on the line. They explain what they want, but this only invites more confusion.
What are you talking about?
Your ad said you do wet work.
Turns out, okay, how do I put this? He does wee tickle time on other men.
I think he said he pisses on dudes.
Okay, thank you. With the night still young, the boys drive to the sketchiest bar they can find, and Kurt straight up asks if anyone can help them with their little job. The bartender does not take kindly to this. They ran out of the place, but not before one gentleman catches wind of their predicament.
Yo, I think I can help you boys.
Meet Mother Effer Jones.
Cool name.
He offers to complete 3 hits for 30 large, but when the boys come up short, he counters.
Okay then, it's 5 large now.
Then we're in.
Stonks. We cut to a montage of the boys collecting cash and suffering at work. Meanwhile, Dale gets confused for a snack. Scrumptious. The trio meet back up with Mother Effer and hand him the stacks, or rather, stack.
What is your projected outside date of completion, mother?
Well, turns out Mr. Jones doesn't want to go back to jail, so he'll be offering them his murder consultant services instead.
No refund.
Alrighty then. Well, he bestows the Three Stooges with some brilliant advice. Make it look like an accident.
Oh boy, that's $5,000 worth, huh?
Yep. One problem, they all have motives and it won't take long for the popo
That place.
to connect the dots. Then, to everyone's surprise, Jones offers up something clever. Kill each other's bosses.
That's actually a good idea.
Not bad.
See, by doing that, there won't be any link. The next day, the boys stake out Bobby's house. This is gonna be so exciting.
This sucks.
This is horrible, man.
Their patience grows thin, so they decide to make a move on the house. Suddenly, the garage door opens and the boys activate sneaky mode. Fortunately, they weren't seen. Kurt proceeds to slip in and Nick follows. Dale, no! He didn't make it. Oh, right. Inside, Nick and Dale stumble upon Bobby's salt collection. Wow. Uh-oh. Meanwhile, Kurt gets cozy in the bathroom. Wait, what are you doing? After a few minutes of that, he steps out to find Nick and Dale acting extremely hyper. I guess the salt was actually sugar. The plot thickens. They leave, and in the car, Kurt reveals he didn't leave empty-handed. He managed to snag Bobby's phone. Heck yeah. Next up, Nick's boss. They pull up to Dave's fancy house and leave Dale behind. He's too hyper. Inside, Kurt spots a wedding photo noting that Dave's wife is a baddie.
Tell you what, I'd like to bend her over a barrel and show her the 50 states, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know what that means.
Don't worry, man. I getcha. Back outside, Dale is passing the time with Angry Birds and snacks. As a man jogs past, Dale litters. Oh my gosh, it's Dave, and he's very anti-littering. Commendable. Suddenly, Dave collapses while uttering the word peanuts. He's allergic. Not knowing that this man is Nick's boss, Dale is compelled to save him. Dave points to his EpiPen and Dale performs the life-saving maneuver. Inside, Nick and Kurt hear the commotion and witness what appears to be Dale going to town on Dave. God damn. They panic and run out, causing Kurt to drop Bobby's phone. Then, Dave's wife pulls up as he revives. She thanks Dale with some huggies and kissies, which Dave is not too thrilled about.
Are you this guy round up? No!
Okay, let's just get out of here. Dale drives off and eventually runs into his pals, who think he just committed a murder. He runs out and explains that he was merely saving the man who he just found out was Nick's boss.
You saved his life?
Well, that sounds bad when you say it like that.
Nick and Kurt get in the car, but don't let Dale in, deciding to give him a little time out. Despite a few setbacks, they conclude that the night was successful. They learn that Dave has a peanut allergy and Bobby loves sugar. We could put peanuts in his shampoo, he won't have his pen in the shower, and we could put a little extra spice in Bobby's sugar. Okay, these guys got things figured out. Now let poor Dale back in. Thank you. Time for another montage. The boys go shopping. Nick gets some rat poison. Kurt gets binoculars and puts them to good use. Ooh la la, oh my god. And finally, Dale gets peanuts. A lot of them. Can't blame him. This is a killer sale. Afterwards, the boys stake out each other's bosses. Dale is at Nick's, Nick is at Kurt's, and Kurt is at Dale's. Confused? Too bad. To pass the time, Dale watches The Notebook. It's a real tearjerker. Oh, the lights are on. We cut to inside where suspicious Dave is snooping through his wife's things. Suddenly, he hears an unfamiliar ringtone. Uh-oh, that's Bobby's phone, and it conveniently reveals his full address in one click. Dave immediately heads towards Bobby's place as we cut to Nick watching him practice kung fu moves. Very cool. Meanwhile, Dale sneaks inside now that Dave is gone. He heads towards the bathroom, but hesitates with his mission. He calls up Nick and admits that he doesn't know if he's got it in him. Yeah, me too. Oh shit, my boss is here. Nick watches on with shock in his eyes as Dave knocks on the door, greets Bobby, then ices him. Brutal. Nick crouches, fearing for his life, as Dave walks back into his car and races off. Not wanting to remain near the scene of a crime, Nick speeds out of there as well. Ruh-roh. The boys once again convene at a bar. Nick and Dale confess that they had second thoughts about the mission, while Kurt went on a side mission. Lucky boy. However, it seems their problems may have solved themselves. Bobby is gone, Dave can be sent to jail, and Julia had her urges satisfied. Great. To finish things off, the boys head to the car in hopes of finding a payphone to put in an anonymous tip about Dave. Unfortunately, the Popo pull up. Sir, we caught you fleeing from the scene of a crime. They're brought back to the station and questioned, starting with Nick, who defends himself by claiming he was drag racing in a Prius.
I don't win a lot.
If you boys don't start talking, we're gonna be here a long time. Suddenly, Dale speaks up. Are we under arrest?
No.
Well, then there is no sufficient evidence of probable cause, so I hereby declare my use of the Fourth Amendment.
Gentlemen, we are free men.
As they walk out, Nick can't help but praise Dale. That was great. Where did that come from?
Law and order.
This man is an intellectual and a scholar. They get in the elevator, but before relief can wash over them, one of the officers hands Nick his ticket and reminds them that they'll be checking Bobby's place for DNA. Oh god, not like this. In the car, Kurt confesses what he did before they pay a visit to the one man who can help them, Mother Effer Jones. They explain to him what happened, and he simply advises them to record Dave confessing. Oh, and we end up learning that Mr. Jones here has never actually killed anyone. Yeah, he went to jail for videotaping a movie. Anyway, the gang heads to Dave's house at night and plan to wait around in his living room until he comes home. Though, they end up walking into his surprise birthday party. Fortunately, Dave's wife, Rhonda, doesn't get suspicious. They join the group, wait for the birthday boy, and Kurt does a little bit of smooth talking with Rhonda. Oh, here he comes.
God, I hate that!
Dave heads to his office and the gang follow along, except for Kurt, who goes off to hang with the wifey. Oh, did I mention that Kurt has the tape recorder? In the office, Nick confronts Dave, who openly brags about what he did. We gotcha. Wait, where the heck is Kurt? Dave moves in and tells the boys they're next. He begins unlocking his gun safe, which buys them enough time to run off. They look for Kurt and find him exiting the bathroom along with Rhonda.
She was giving me a tour of the house.
Classy. They speed off in their car, then Dale gets a call from Julia. Looks like her urges weren't left satisfied after all. Thanks for nothing, Kurt. She threatens to call his fiancé if he doesn't start talking naughty to her right now. He starts going along with things, but then Dave pulls up and Dale is forced to say all kinds of crazy things while in the middle of a high-speed car chase. Though, it seems the adrenaline has at least sparked his creativity.
I'll dance on your boobies and I'll jump up and down your butt.
Goddamn. Fortunately, the boys have gotten away from Dave, for now. Oh, look at that. The car's built-in GPS service has kicked in. The assistant, Gregory, chimes in that he's detected the car was in an accident and he'll be sending the location to the police. No, don't do that. They think we murdered someone. Ooh, shouldn't have said that. Gregory remotely disables the car's engine, and it's not long after before Dave forces them out of the car, holding them at gunpoint. But he instead turns the gun on himself. You see, he's planning to frame them for what he did. Shortly after, the police arrive and cuff the gang, but in doing so, discover Kurt's recorder. Oh, yeah, listen to it. You'll see he's lying.
Your balls are so smooth.
Wait a minute. Is that my wife?
No. The officer fast forwards some more, but the tape cuts off right after the car crash. Damn.
Excuse me, officers.
No way. Gregory comes in clutch, stating that it's NavGuide's policy to record all conversations for quality assurance. Well, I'll be damned. And with that, the police have all the evidence they need. Oh, and by the way, that was your wife. An enraged Dave charges forward.
I like them nipples.
What? In the aftermath, Nick gets promoted and gets a cool new boss.
Lou?
Can I come out now, please?
You hear that?
Let's just keep this as our little secret. Okay, another crazy one. Checking in with Kurt, we see that sadly he didn't get promoted. Instead, the most senior employee became boss. That's right, they brought back Large Marge. Kurt congratulates her and lets her know he's happy to help out when the baby comes.
What baby?
Your baby.
Yeah, looks like Bobby was right.
Yay.
Last but not least, Dale. During an operation, he starts to go along with Julia's fooling around, but then reveals that the patient is the old buddy from the bar. Yeah, the one that'll do anything for $50. Oh, and old mother effer Jones is recording outside. Got him.